Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody's off to a great start this week. And my week has been frustrating. Really, my last 2 weeks have been frustrating. This computer problem I thought was an internet issue just has been gradually getting worse and worse. And, I'm blaming it on Spectrum, the rain that we had the last couple, it was pretty wet last week. I'm blaming it on everything else, but what it boils down to, it was all my fault because I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do. I didn't handle the things that I needed to handle. Now, I'm not a computer guy, and I know enough to get me in trouble and to do some things, but there's some things that I just don't know. And believe it or not, one of the reps at SureTrader told me what I needed to do. And it worked. It solved my whole problem. I mean, before my computer would take, a little bit longer. It wasn't really slow logging in, but it was taking longer than it did when I first bought it. And, the guy asked me, well, I don't know if it was a male or female. You don't know who you're getting with the picture, but whoever it was told me that, or asked me if I had a software that I could run through and clean up my computer. Because, over the course of time, things get downloaded to the computer that just sits there. They don't belong, or they cause problems. They cause conflict with other programs and stuff. And so I'm like, I pay all this money for this AVG and it's got something on it. So, they told me that's what you need to do. And that will probably solve your problem. And sure enough, that's what it did. I took my lunch and ran the program. And now the computer fires up like it's nothing. Had no problems with it disconnecting anymore like it had been. And so I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, but got that fixed. So I'm really happy about that. It sucks that, this momentum kicked off this week and I haven't been able to take advantage of it, but the week, it's not over. Tomorrow is go time. It's go time. And I'm reintroducing a strategy that I used last year around this time. Now, what you guys got to understand, I've got some basic strategies, just basic strategies that's more mechanical in nature. So, you don't have to think too much. And when you start overthinking, that's when you really mess up. And then as you progress and as you learn, you can start trading more subjective strategies, like my earnings strategy or my all-day hold. These are more subjective strategies. And, even I had second thoughts about really introducing them to everybody because I knew what was going to happen. Now I've got people guessing on earnings every day. They're guessing. And I'm like, that's not the way the strategy is. You have no edge if you just guess. There's a process, and I took you guys through the process that you have to follow in order to trade. The reason why I haven't traded earnings the last 2 days is because the price action going into the close was not right. Today, I was all ready to go, and the market sold off, that last hour, completely screwed everything up. So you gotta be more disciplined when you're dealing with these, because you incur a little bit more risk. But you gotta crawl before you can walk. No, is the point. I guess I'm getting too far ahead of myself, but we're going to cover one of the strategies today that I'm bringing back around, so you guys can understand, what it is I'm looking for and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Obviously, the earning strategy is still going to be intact as well. And then in the summer, I'm going to share my pre-market strategy, because then I'll be able to trade pre-market because it'll be summertime and I don't have to take my son to school. So, enough of those ramblings. Don't waste another year, especially if you've been trying to trade or you're trying to learn how to trade and you just can't get it. You just can't be consistent. You may get a big win here and you just can't keep the money in your account. It's probably because you started on D. You didn't go through A, B, and C. You jumped right into D, because most people, they're teaching you right into D because they know when you come in, you just want to jump in and start trading. You want to put money in your account and go. And if you miss the fundamentals and you don't catch them, it's going to be very difficult for you to sustain a career in trading, really a career in anything. Think about any of the other professionals industries out there, either the legal profession or the medical profession, whether it's a doctor or a nurse or whatever. You can't just say, this is what I want to do, and then go out and start doing it. There's some fundamentals that you have to learn, because some procedures, if you don't do them right, you can kill your patient. Something as simple as taking blood, or putting in a catheter. You do it wrong, you can kill somebody. So I know trading is not that intense, but it is one of those industries where if you don't learn and get the foundation, you don't build that foundation and learn the fundamentals, it's going to be very, very difficult to move on. It's like if you're trying to put a jigsaw puzzle together without a picture. It can be done, but 78% of the people will quit before they finish putting the puzzle together. There's a high number that just won't do it. They'll just say, off, whatever, forget it. But you don't want to be caught up in that, because in this industry, you will lose money. And if you lose money, it could be detrimental to you. So don't waste another year fumbling around. I say that because I'm giving you guys A, B, and C. The program that I rolled out at the beginning of the year that we're continuing to go through is giving you guys that. And that's why I say give me an honest 6 months and I can change your life. But you got to give me an honest 6 months. You could be well on your way to achieving your trading goals. And I'm giving it to you in sequence, because it's like if you were taking a math class. If I'm going to assign you to geometry and you've never taken algebra before, I'm just setting you up to fail. And that's what's happening when you're jumping in and you're bypassing a lot of the fundamentals. You're being set up to fail. And I don't want to see you guys fail. So that's why I did this roadmap to success. I took this time and went through and reverse engineered everything that I did, and that's what I'm giving you. And it's free. You're not paying for the class. All classes are free. you're just subscribing to the community. Because I got to pay Alnovia for your space in the room. So that's it. Every class I got is free. I'm not charging. I'll never charge you anything extra for any classes. But don't wait. Don't wait. All right. So let's take a look at our this is the all-day hold. Some people call it all-day hold. Some people call it an intraday swing trade. Intraday swing trading strategy. Whatever it is a strategy. And it gives me an edge. And everything that we do, any strategy, that we apply to the market, it's got to give us an edge. Okay, and the 3 strategies that I teach you to start with, the opening range strategy, the continuation, and the reversal, those are more mechanical trades or mechanical type setups. Once you establish that a stop is in play that meets your criteria, all you're doing is waiting for an entry to trigger and you enter. You already know where that trigger is going to be. Like, for instance, the opening range, if you're doing a 5-minute, if it breaks the 5-minute high, you in. If it breaks the 5-minute low, you're in. It's more mechanical. And it's designed to do, it's like that on purpose, because when you're first starting out, you don't want to have to think too much. And I find myself thinking too much sometimes too, because I've kind of progressed beyond that. And you guys will progress beyond the basics. Some people stay here and they make good money doing it. But eventually you're going to want to progress through the basics. And you're going to want to learn these strategies, like my earning strategy and this all-day hold strategy. And these are more subjective. They're not as mechanical. So they're going to require you to think a little bit more on your feet. And you're going to learn, you're going to use more price action in determining, what you do when you get in this and what you're seeing. You're going to have to give it wider stops. And your stops may be subjective. When you come and check on it and it's not looking right, you may change your stop. This is not as mechanical as the other strategies. And the reservation I had about, like, when I was sharing the earning strategy and, bringing this strategy back, because, we did this last year around this time, and this is the time for it to come back again. It's like everybody abandoned the fundamentals and they want to run and jump in these subjective ones because they make more money. And the thing is, again, if you're not ready to tackle that, if your skills are not to the level where they need to be, it's going to be hard. You're not going to be able to walk away from it, because these, you just set it and you forget it. You set it, set your stop, set your profit target, and you walk away. And these are very good for those who work during the day and have limited time, going back and forth between their job and then being able to look at the computer and all of that. This is not a strategy for you to get in and sit there and watch all day long, because it will drive you insane. And you will have bounces that would, shock you, and you end up taking it off. And then by the end of the day, the stock is where you wanted it to be. So you got to be careful, jumping from mechanical strategy. And if you can't execute a simple mechanical strategy where everything is set in stone, it's going to be very difficult to do subjective trading. So I want you to keep keep that in mind. But with these, the all-day hold, there's certain parameters that come into effect. Number one, it's got to have a really significant catalyst, whether it be earnings, whether it be news, but that catalyst has to be strong enough to move it opposite the market. If the market's going down or selling off, this catalyst should be able to drive it in the opposite direction if that's where it's going to be going. So it definitely has to have a strong catalyst. And I use VWAP in this a lot because if it's above VWAP, I can't short it until we get below it. So, for instance, what I like to see is if I'm going to look to short this, I'm looking for it to put in a high. And here's the high up here. And then I look for it to pull back and retest to see if it's going to take this high out. If it doesn't, I'm going to wait for it to pull back through VWAP, and I'm going to get it off of that. And I can hold it the rest of the day. Well, here I couldn't get in this morning. This is when I was having issues, and I didn't really get situated until, later on. So I had to wait for this to bounce. And this is what I was telling you guys. I'm going to get in it. I just got to wait for it to bounce and reject. And it bounced, rejected VWAP again. And so, it triggered an entry. And I got the second leg of it. This was the most profitable. And typically the first leg is the most profitable. But if you miss it, don't chase it. Be patient. Wait for the setup to come. And you can still make some decent money out of it. But the key is you're going to get in it. It's going to be, based off of what you're seeing here. Once you get in, your stop's going to have to be the high. If you get in when you're supposed to. So if I got in here, my stop would have been up here. That if it came up and took this high out, then the setup's broken. So that's where the stop would be. So that's why I say you got to give it more room than you typically would a normal day trade. So that's why this is not, ideal until you really get comfortable with your mechanical trades. And then, this would have been the first target here, the 200. And, you have strategic second targets. Like 130 would be an ideal one here. And then, 128 was going to be my final target on here. I was looking for it to pull back, that far. But, it didn't quite do that. So you just hold it until the end of the day and you get out. Like I just took it off right at the close. Sometimes I would take it off 5 minutes before the close. And in the last 5 minutes, this thing goes and hits my target. So I wait until the actual market closes and then I'll take it, or right before the close. Here I just missed it by a couple seconds, but that's fine. But the thing is, this is a subjective trade. Things can change in between the time that you got in it and then you come back an hour or two later to look at it. But again, if you sit here and watch this thing tick for tick, it will drive you insane. And that's not what this is designed to do. And back when I was doing this last year this time, I had people watching this thing tick for tick. And they were like, oh, it bounced all the way back up here. Are you going to take it off? Like, no, I'm not even watching it. This is one that you can honestly trade while you're at work. It's got incredible profit potential, but you can't chase it, and you have to be really disciplined, with your entries, and you just come back at strategic points throughout the day and double check it and see if you have to make any changes to it. It's just as simple as that. But it's not simple. And I can make it sound simple, but it takes practice, and you've got to be able to have the patience and the discipline. Because I could have easily jumped in and tried chasing this thing, and this thing could have turned around on me and stopped me out. So I'm going to wait until it's ideal. And that way, it's less likely that I'm going to lose money. I'm going to make it, and we'll end up having a good day. All right, so this, I don't even know if I should even show you this, because this is where everything got, foobar. Okay, I get in up here. I'm looking for this thing, to go up. Now, there was a level up here that I got in over, and it went up. It hit my first target, and it would not let me out. I could not. I kept trying to send the order. It will not go. And then it came all the way back, and instead of me taking it off, I freaking bought more. And so now I'm worried because I maxed out my buying power. I've got like $3 in buying power left. And I never advocate using all your buying power, because then if the stock goes against you, you may not be able to get out. And that's what I was having trouble doing here, trying to get out, because it kept saying that it wasn't shortable and all this other crazy stuff. It was just a mess, to be honest with you. And then over here, I was just checking the platform. I really wasn't trading. So it really doesn't look like I probably should have traded this thing. But I was just trying to see if they were right. I logged in on my laptop and didn't have any issues with this. So that's when I started thinking, well, maybe these guys at Share Trader know something. And, I decided to fix it. So this is just an example of what can happen, or how you can get really out of sorts when things aren't going your way, and why you shouldn't trade. And I didn't really trade. Once I got out of this mess, like I said, this was just me, testing. And so it wasn't, if it was really a trade, I'd have nailed it short. Took it off here, took some off here, left half on, came down here to the 20. You know my MO. If you see me every day on these, you know exactly, the targets I'm looking for. But ended up today 49.90 negative. I think I'm down around just over $200 for the week. I'm in the red. So 2 more days of trading, and it should be awesome. I'm really excited because the momentum is back, the volatility is back, the volume's coming back, earnings season is kicking off. So we're good to go. I'm looking to finish this month strong. We need a really strong May, and I don't see why we can't do that, because when June hits, oh my gosh, you better be ready. So, we're going to pack up our food just like a squirrel does for the winter. That's what we're going to be doing to our money, so we don't have to stress about it during the summer. All right, so that's going to do it for me today, guys. I will catch you later. I will let you know when the next live stream is going to be. Maybe next week. I have to check my schedule out. But I think that's it. So you guys take care, and I will catch you in the morning.